Greetings, humans and humanoids! Welcome back to the TractorFella channel, where we know nothing about tractors. On today's episode, we're going to see if this gorgeous, snow-chucking, two-stroke machine of fury will run. I was driving down the road the other day. There it was. I've always wanted one of these. It'd be super convenient around the garage and such, where the Jolly Green Giant and or Red Delicious tractor wouldn't be able to make it. So, enough talking, let's dive in. Alright, what do we have? Let's take a look at this excellent control panel. Vane direction. Turn the handle left and right. It changes the direction of these vanes in the front. Although it appears that one vane is not feeling like participating in this exercise with the rest of the vanes. We'll have to look into that. When I was a kid, we had one of these. I think my parents still have it. It was two-stroke, but it was a single stage with a chute, not the vane style. We have a primer. Push to prime. Will it squish? It will squish. Ignition switch. Ripcord, choke, and equipped with electric start. That button is stiff. There's our plug for the electric start. We'll have to see how that works or doesn't work. Look at that muffler. It's integrated into the wheel supports. Well, that's amazing. I can't say I've ever seen that before, but as we all know, there are about 650 billion things that I haven't seen before. So this is exciting. Very exciting. Wheels. They roll. We're off to a great start here. I was looking down here at the flippy flappies, and there is a lot of meat left on these. Like, a lot of meat. I'm pretty impressed. It's weird to me that there's no exit for the snow back here. You know what I mean? Like a two-stage or a single, even the single stage with a chute. It's just weird. Why are we not participating? Oh, because we're broken. I feel like there'll be some plastic welding in our future. Anything else fascinating about this little unit? No. No, there's not. Next up, will it spin? And does it spin the flapper? Okay, that's good. Not feeling a whole lot of compression in there. Next test. Let's see if we're dealing with gas or Thompson's water seal. Is there any liquid in there? It's mostly Thompson's water seal. See anything in there? I see remnants of what used to be a petroleum-based liquid. Alright, we'll just tip it all the way back. No, it's completely dry, or, well, residuey. Anyone know how to take one of these apart? Yeah, me either. Let's start with those two little teeny bolts. What are those? 10 mil? Isn't that what the cool people say? Mil? Oh, is it a 10? Not even close. Oh man, it's my first day wrenching. It's an 8. It's an 8 mil. Are those factory, or did someone just run self-tappers in there? Alright, so now how does this come off? I'm guessing these 3 screws here help remove the rest of that cover. So maybe they are factory with the self-tapper-esque screws. Alright, 1, 2, 3, letter E. Looks like we have some progress here. Remove our Thompson's water seal cap. And... oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! Are you serious? A starter with a plastic Bendix gear? That's a thing these days? No way. Look at that ring gear. Oh, sorry, spinning you the wrong way. Really not a whole lot going in there for squish. There's our vane connection. Check it out. Very cool. Ripcord. This control panel up here is very squishy. Is it supposed to be that squishy? No, it's just one integral piece. There's a little reinforcing rib here, 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 and here. It's just old. He's my squishy, and I shall call him my squishy. What do you want to do next? You want to do a compression test? I agree. Well, could be part of the issue. Uh-oh, that's a brand new plug. Somebody lost ignition, would be my guess. I mean, that is a sparkly plug. This could be exciting. L7T, WX. Maybe the plug's junk, because it's made from nowhere land. Same one we use every time. 98% of the time. Every time. I'm sure 112% of you know how an electric start works on a snowblower. They are powered by 120 volts. When it's energized, a little swirly gear in there fires this drive gear into the driven gear and starts to spin. I guess we'll find out if the electric start even works. They're usually obnoxious because it's running off 120 volts at 60 hertz. As always, large numbers are PSI, small numbers are kPa times 100 for our metric friends. Are we ready? We're ready. Fingers crossed. Two-stroke, 70 PSI. I don't know if that's really that great. What do you want to do now? Check for spark? I mean, this thing is very much so brand new. I don't think it's been fired once. So it makes me wonder if we have lost spark. I don't know. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, that is a good attachment point. Are we ready? Let's see what happens. Ignition on and go. We do not have any spark at all. Well, heck, let's try it in the off position. Because why not? Nay. Okay. Time to dive in. And when I say dive in, I mean we're going to try other spark plugs. These are made by Savior. However, we're going to class it up a little bit and we're going to go with Savoie. These are Savoie plugs. B3 LME and B6 SE. I have no idea if either of these work. They came brand new with something I bought and I can't remember what. But I would think that they'll function. I mean, one of them has to. And let's see what we get. Ignition switch on and go. No. Switching from Savoie number 1 to Savoie number 2. Let's make sure this is actually engaging inside the plug. Yep, it's in there. Ah, mosquito, not cool. Plug number 3. If this one doesn't work, we have an ignition problem outside of spark plugs. And go. No dice. Now correct me if I'm wrong. Typically an ignition switch, when you turn it on, it opens the contacts so that you do not ground the coil. And when you shut it off, it closes the contacts to provide a ground for the coil, and that's what shuts it down. I found a very convenient diagnostic plug down here. Let's just go ahead and pull it out, and that will tell us pretty much immediately if our switch is bad. Commence plug removal. Does not have any buttons to actually keep the plug together. Maybe we just have a corroded connection? That wouldn't make sense. That would cause it to never ever shut off. We'll skip the Savoie and head right back to the L7T made by WX. And 3, 2, 1, go. No. Oh man, this is getting heavy. Alright, so let's get a little more sophisticated. Let's just check across the switch pins and see if our resistance changes when we open or shut. Open or shut. When we turn on or turn off the switch. Basically, open loop with the switch off. Now I'm going to turn the switch on. And it does nothing. Absolutely nothing. Maybe this coil actually requires a closed circuit to run? Alright, well, we can test that theory by simply jumping these contacts closed. We just short circuit from one to the other, and if we get spark, we know that this coil requires continuity. Alright, so check out this innovation. I took your typical household wire and I laid it on the ground and I blasted it with a hammer to flatten these out into my homemade spade terminals. Innovation at its finest. Alright, so should be able to take these guys, plug them in. We are in. Okay, here goes nothing. No, this may be a coil issue. So I've officially named my jumper Humpty Jumpy. Yep, we're good. Continuity success. Okay. I guess we're just gonna keep on going. Just for kicks, let's measure the resistance across these green and black wires. Yeah, we do. I have no idea what a coil resistance should be. Well, that's straight up short. Is that right? I'm making huge assumptions right now that this is across the coil on the shutoff side. How about on the spark plug wire side? Let's check from the coal to the ground. 77 kilo ohms. I mean, I'm not familiar with what your coil resistance should be on the plug side, but I know there should be some. That's 7.7 thousand ohms. Okay. I'm reading sideways here. Well, this may go pretty deep, but I don't want to give up because, like I said, I've really wanted one of these for a long time. Let's start by popping off the belt shroud. Oh, no. Nuts. Get it? There's a nut on the backside. I know. I'm funny. Washers on the backside. More bolts. I have an 11 millimeter on the bottom. Oh man, I'm not hitting on all cylinders today. 1 and 2 more over there. Alright, as a mental note, there is no washer on this one, and there is no washer on this one. Now, yes, got a cute little tensioner right here. This ribbed belt is missing a rib. If you have a look, we're riding outside of where we're supposed to be. This should be over here. We can get her back on track. There we go. There we go. Wow, I don't know what's going on here. Is this bent? This looks way bent. Check out this belt alignment. Not so great. So if we look down the line, unless the pulley is coming off. Oh, the pulley is coming off. Look at that. The set screw is gone on one of those, and it's still present on the other one. And this, look at that gap. Yep, I'm surprised it's still hanging on for dear life. The key is still there, so that's good. But we're definitely going to have to address that. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Starting the list. Toro S-200E for electric start. Spark needs to be addressed. Primary pulley needs to be addressed. Shop mods and steel. That was the last episode. Check. Go check that out if you want. If not, no big deal. Welcome back, folks. It's a new and beautiful day. You may have noticed you haven't seen the puppies for a while. Well, Titan got into it with a dog that wasn't supposed to be on our property. And Titan got bit in the face. And we had to go to the vet. And he had to get medicine and drops and eye wash. And so it took us quite a while to get him all cleaned up. You look like Rocky Balboa after a massive fight. All right, let's continue on. Maybe we can pull this bottom cover off. All right, well, let's just make our way from left to right. And it's gone. And it's gone. And it's smaller. Oh, come on. Okay, this one is 1/4. I just want to get a peek behind the engine. And apparently that's going to be too much to ask. Or maybe not, and I can just pull really hard. Oh, it's stuck in that weird muffler. Maybe it is just as easy to pull the engine. Because I bet the coil's underneath this tin. Not going to have to pull that dang thing off. Wait a second. Does this have points? I'm seeing a bunch of stuff behind the flywheel. No way. Oh man, yep, we're pulling the engine. Alright, so 2 things just exploded in my brain. First of all, if this is in fact a points engine, the points are probably just dirty and that's our only issue. Number 2, this is going to be a lot more work than I thought it would be. And number 3, our switch still doesn't even work. But you know what? I signed up for having a little bit of fun, so let's have a little bit of fun. You know what else would be awesome? Is if they made this serviceable without... What is that? Oh gee, I don't know, we gotta pull the engine. Let's get to it. Step number 1, remove our pulley. Luckily for us, it's already partially deleted itself. Wow, first try. It is a number 3. And it actually loosened. Okay, there we go. Let's make sure our key doesn't go anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Step 6, remove these 4 bolts. Nuts. not bolts. 1/4 inch to 3/8 plus extension. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, didn't think so. Okay, there are washers on here. Pardon my gourd. Exhaust. Let me guess. You're going to be standard too. No, you're not standard, but you got a big shoulder where that exhaust is. 1/4 inch sockets, so they actually fit around the wall. Don't you tighten up on me. Not playing this game. There we are. Alright. That was scary. Exhaust is off. We have an exhaust gasket here. Things are getting looser. That guy right there. I think that'll be our last one. Or so I hope. Mental note. Nut, large spacer. Let's see here. Can I pry it enough to get it out? Nope. Nope, I cannot. I'm gonna have to take the gas tank off, and that's held on by a couple of bolts down here. This parts pile is getting very real. Back to a 10 mil this time. These bolts are all over the place. I'm gonna put these back in here because I will forget them otherwise. These are thread cutting screws. So now what do we do? Just kind of pull it out and lift it off to the side. The dang rope goes up through this control panel. This is extraordinarily inconvenient. Oh good, we have spacers on the back side of the engine too. Let's get these out of here before I lose them. Because we know I will lose them. Throttle cable is coming off. I'm sorry, that's the choke lever. Got the 120 volt starter with a holder, a hold down. Let's take that off too. Okay, what do we have here? Bolt, washer, spacer, and wire hold down. Why? Do we really need all of that? There's probably somebody out there that knows exactly how to do this without pulling the engine, and they're screaming at me, you gotta do is I gotta learn the hard way. Okay, that's off of there. Hopefully that's enough where we can just play around. Let's get the ripcord addressed here. Alright. Now we have ripcord slack. This is an adventure, folks. My tool pile is also getting real. Let's talk about these wires. Green wire goes down behind the cover, potentially to some points. I'm kind of hoping it is points at this point. I know. Once again, I am funny. Here's our little bolt right here around the fuel line. It's not the right size. Wow, we've switched again. How many spacers and washers does this bolt have? Wow, none. Okay. Well, make a pile for cover bolts. We have 2 out so far. I'm guessing we need to flip over to the bottom. Okay, ripcord, you are released from your home. Let's go ahead and I want to get this on the bench. Can I easily remove the starter? It has zip ties from the factory, which are adorable. They're a very cute addition. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna give those the snip snip, and then we're gonna pull these bolts out, remove the starter, pull off the fuel line, and then I think Bob will be our uncle. Can you imagine working in a repair shop and having to go through all this? I commend you, repair folks. We're going to keep in mind this is not super tight, and I'm sure that's because they don't want to crack the plastic starter. This is kind of strange. It's a triangular shaped bolt. Can you see that? It's not perfectly round. It has 3 sides. Why would they do that? Is it to carve threads? Seems like all of these are self-tappers. Oh, did you puppies think I was talking to you? You think I was whistling to you? I'm whistling to keep my sand. Oh my! Purple scissors of fury. Nope. Oh well. Or pry bar. Okay, starter, you are released from your prison. What's next? Fuel line. This is where our primer bulb attaches, and the main fuel line is on this side over here. Nice and easy. Oh, that was nice and easy. Okay, there's our pinchy clip. Okay, we at least broke it loose. And we are free. Oh man, that's gonna be a bear to put back together. Jeez, oh Pete's. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi, little black dog. Okay, just stare at me like I'm a ghost or something. That works too. Anyway, let's get this beautiful little disaster up onto our newly refurbished workbench. Come on, little guy. Oh, look at you. So, let's grab Bertha, just because we can. We'll do a gentle removal. This is very clean. That shroud does a nice job. How easy do you think this will come off? Well, first of all, it won't, because there's a frickin' coil in the way. So now we have to remove that. I'm gonna take this before Titan decides to walk on it and put it over here. 8 mil? Oh yeah, I am learning. Learning new and exciting things. Boop. Eventually what's gonna happen is I'm gonna put these bolts back where I got them, and then I'll go to put the component on, not realizing that the bolts are still in their homes, and completely freak out because I can't find the parts I need. Got a little spade connector here for our coal. Now, how easily are you gonna come off? What does that say? Oh, Tecumseh. Warning, alternator misuse may cause burst hazard. Alright, that's a first. Even if I wanted to use a puller on this, these aren't tapped. Huh. Like I said, the company must have just relied on everything to be a self-tapper. Nice and easy. I'm trying to be nice. Yeah, I see a condenser. That's funny. One thing we do want to be careful, I don't know if this ring gear is integrated into the casting or not, so if you pry in the wrong spot, that ring gear could go bye-bye. I'm gonna go a little bit less nice this time. I'm gonna think about this for a minute. Well, I have no idea where that came out. I don't know how to get this off. I don't want to put heat to it, because if I put heat to it, there's a chance I could damage the components inside for ignition. Okay, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. Probably not. But this ring gear is integrated into the flywheel. So my plan is to just put a small amount of pressure on it, and then give it the middle tap, and see if that happens. See if that helps. Oh, yeah. Kneecaps right into an open drawer. Oh, I think it's a sign. I probably should take that sign, but I'm not going to. Wow, that hurt. Oh, it worked. Oh man, that frightened the hell out of me. Woo! Anybody else just jump out of their skin? What the heck is that? Is that the cover for the points? And welcome to the Tractorfella Points and Service Station. Why don't we do some continuity checks? This will make sure our wires are in good health. So this green turns to white, and the white comes through here and over to this terminal here. Good. How about the coil? I mean the coal wire to this post. Success. Wires are good. Also, check this out. Before I completely lose my indexing position, does it only go in one spot? It does. So these little dimples correspond to that little guy right there. Okay, we can remember that because there's no other way it can go. Set points to 20 thousandths. Well, what do you say? We just pop this top? Yeah, check it out. There's like a little ring you grab and pull this. Looks like you might slide it off to the side. And, yep, just rotate it over. Well, that's cool. A little convenient cover for checking your points. Now, I guess this just comes right off. Nice little dust cover. Pleasant looking. Still in good shape. All right, here's the points. Got your little scrubber there to rub some grease on them to help keep them in a functioning order. Are they opening? Yes. There's a little arrow to indicate where. See that little arrow? That indicates where it should be on this rocker to set your gap. We can also test the condenser, I believe, by charging it up using the resistance setting on your multimeter. Go from the coil, the condenser wire, over to the condenser, and the resistance should continue to change. At least I thought it should. Unless, of course, it's bad. Let's see. Should be able to check the voltage. Oh no, it charged. Yeah, it's holding some juice. See, now we're discharging it. So essentially what's happening, and I learned all this from the Clinton engine on that old mower. So the way the meter checks resistance in a wire is it sends out a little teeny voltage, and it checks to see how much of that comes back across the other lead. So essentially what you're doing here is you are taking your condenser and you are shooting voltage into the condenser. A very small amount, but I believe that's all you really need. And then you can switch back to voltage and see how much comes back out. About 5 volts DC. Now, this is a capacitor, so don't touch it with your bare fingers because it might wake you up. So we have a good feeling about our capacitor. I'm guessing, let's check, I'm guessing the points are probably just nasty. Do a couple more quick checks. Bottom point to top point. Out of limits. If we close that gap, probably still out of limits because it is dirty. Yep, pretty much out of limits. Open loop, whatever you want to say. I can't really see in there to see how dirty they are or are not. Some sandpaper. Open these babies up. Put the paper in there. And go to town. This is the second time in my life I have sanded a set of points. So the question is, how often are these going to foul? Am I going to have to do this every winter? When I go out to use it and the dang thing won't start because it doesn't have spark? I certainly hope not. Mortsky flick. Although I watched somebody reviving a vehicle or reviving something, he did the Mortsky flick and the points exploded. Let's see if any of our tests change. I just did a bunch of tests. You couldn't see it. Let's do it again. All right, points are open. So we're going to do this point to ground. Nothing. Now we're going to do, with them closed, this point to ground. Whoop! And we have good continuity. So our points are now functioning as they should. And we can confidently put this back together and say that we should have spark. But we're going to test it anyway first, because that seems like a terrible idea. Just run with it and put the whole thing back together? No. Not a chance. All right. Take a little teeny smudge of grease on a Q-tip. This is just general purpose grease. I don't know if there's any other type of grease you should use, but you should not use oil because it will spray all over the place and devour your points. So I've been told. Oh, whoa. What's coming off here? That whole collar comes off? I mean, we're not taking it off, but interesting. You could take off this cam and replace it. Oh, nice. That's a good design if your cam wears out. Huh. If that's actually supposed to do that, and that's actually what it's for. Are you guys sleeping yet? I told one of the fellas in the comments that my goal is to actually, just put people to sleep early. And that way, what happens is they don't jump around, and my viewing time goes up. Because they sleep through the whole episode. Just kidding. Just kidding. That's not my goal. My goal is to have some fun and to bring you all along. One last thing, let's check our gap. We want 20 thou. That's what the cool kids say. Thou. It's like shuffling through a deck of cards. 20 thou. 0.508 millimeters for our metric friends. Will it fit? Actually, we are a little thin on the gap there, even after sanding. 0.020 is 20 thousandths. That's exactly what the cover said, right? Set points, 0.020. Okay, we have a gauge of 0.020 with my wiggly hand. And when I push it in there, it opens it up more. So we need to set our gap wider, which means we need to loosen that screw up. Oh my. We're gonna fight today, aren't we? Let's give it a good old slap on the butt. We'll just use a hatchet that I had lying around. There it was. Tap, tap, smack. Oh, it worked. Love the pop. Points are currently open. We have our arrow lined up with our cam, our rocker, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to pop this little guy in here, and it should slide this plate over that way so we get a larger gap if it's loose enough. And if it wants to cooperate. You know what? I think that's pretty darn good. Just barely dragging on the way out. Okay, after adjusting and checking about 25 times, I think I have the confidence that I need to tighten this back down. A little ridiculous. OCD kicking in hardcore. One final test. Open. Closed. The reassembly process is now ready to begin. And go. I did a little checkery, and it says the gap between the coil and the magnet should be around 15 thousandths. Shuffling those cards again. Strong magnet. Holy moly, super strong magnet. So strong, in fact, I can't separate it from the stinking flywheel. I'm feeling some radial play. You hear that? Yeah, that's that way, back and forth. Well, that may not be a good thing. Okay, I say before we go any further, we check for spark. Do you agree? Yes. Let's find our no-name spark plug. Ground her out and cross your fingers. Well, that's exciting. See if Bertha will get us spinning fast enough that we can get a good spark check and play, if you know what I mean. Hopefully I don't get shocked too many times. Oh yeah, that is what I like to see. All right, I think you know what's coming next. What do we have, folks? Say it with me. We have all the spark. Welcome back, folks. It's a new and glorious day. Let's continue on of this gorgeous snow chucker. Now that I said that, I have no idea what I should be doing right now. I'm starting to wonder about the carburetor, because we haven't checked out the carburetor. And there's great possibility that everything in there is turned into cement. You like my hat? I can't find any of my Carhartt hats. They've magically disappeared. Probably somewhere in this abyss. Should probably answer that. Well, I do know from reviewing the video over and over again, when I told you to keep an eye on this piece of plastic, that it is a support, or bushing, or buffer, for our starter motor. Clips right in there. How nice. Oh, you know what? We never looked at our piston. Typically on the exhaust side is when the piston looks the nastiest. Nastiest. It's nice and oily, that's for sure. And I didn't even spray it with 10 pounds of PB Blaster. Oh, lots of carbon though. I'm going to have to run her nice and hot. Cylinder on the back side, I can still see cross hatching. You can't because the camera refuses to focus on it. Ah, there it is. Now you can see. Cross hatch. How cool is that? What's that over there? Is that our intake? Yep, it must be because it's where the carburetor is. Sweet, this little guy's healthy. Aside from some radial play. Not a fan of that. Should probably take this off too. Traffic. Whee! Okay, don't do that. One thing we can put back together is the back cover. Because we know now, looks like a giant chunk of glue. Just go ahead and rid ourselves of this. I applaud the previous owner for attempting to fix it with whatever that is, a big pile of glue. But yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll get out the plastic welder, fix her up. You know, the little baby screw went down here somewhere. Okay, back cover reassembly is complete. I'm thinking, no, I'm not thinking. We're not doing that. There's like 3 more screws to remove just the gas tank. I can't pull this out because our Vane rod goes through the metal bracket, so I'm just going to put a little liquid in there. We'll shake it around and then wipe it out with a towel. We'll go with, honestly, we'll go with the CNC cleaner. Get that straw down in there, nice and deep like. I angled our fuel line down a little bit, this guy here, and poured some on the ground. Are you going to get this back out? Probably not. So we clean out our fuel line a little. Okay, there we go. Now we can clean out our tank. Alright, I think that should be good. Nothing too exciting. Probably just some oil residue. I was thinking while this is up here, we should probably clean up that section of the crank so that we can put our pulley back on where it's supposed to go. Oh, how beautiful is that? And we continue on. Let's do a quick check of our primer here. See if this line moves any air or not. Oh, I can hear it. Can you hear it? Therefore, I think our primer might still be good. You know, while the engine's still plucked, why don't we go ahead and pull out our ignition switch and see if we can make it work again. I just want to do one more quick check of the switch, make sure it's actually malfunctioning and I wasn't doing something wrong. I'll tell you what, let's probe it directly at the switch. So we are currently in the off position. Basically, open loop. Turn it on. Stop that. And same thing. So I think it's trying to close. Yeah. Well, maybe we can rip it apart. Well, that was entirely too easy. Whoop. Oh no, I jinxed it. Let's see if these little guys can help me out. Let's switch this around. Ouch. Use the actual side you're supposed to. Smart fella. That is not how that's supposed to work. There we go. That's a little better, huh? All right, we are engaged and ready for disassembly. Oh, that's not even on there. Goodness. What can I say? Right. Oh my gosh, the sun's coming out. I'm gonna push that through. Pull her on out. Time for dissection. What exactly can we dissect? Oh, we're gonna have to pull this cover back open. Indac? Indac. Patented. Alright, Indac. We'll start with some regular pliers. See if we can just open things up a bit. Oh, yeah, quite easily. As long as I don't crack it off. Like that. Yep, gotta be careful. End up just breaking it. Close. It's just a little bit holding on there. It'd be nice if I could just do one side. How about that? Oh yeah. And what do we have? Greasy contacts. We're going to remember the shredded side goes with the mutilated side. Okay. Now let's slowly remove the rest of it. See what is inside here. Okay, we have a spring helping to push this little piece against these two contacts, wherever I put that thing, right here. And that's it. Well, that really is it. It's a spring, a little rotatey guy, and a set of contacts. I bet they're just gross. Well, let's degross them, shall we? How's my continuity today? Oh man, I'm extremely resistive. Let's get some CNC cleaner left over on this rag. Oh, very nice. We could even be as so bold to do one of these numbers. I'm sure this grit is entirely too coarse. Like it was born yesterday. I have some of this bulb grease. Okay, let's put our little contactor back in its home. And torn up side to the mutilated case. There we go. Now let's see if we can bend this over without breaking it. Let's get our grease moving a little bit. Where's the key? Look how worn down it is. Jeez. Barely has any teeth left. Let's get our grease worn in. Nice positive engagement. Oh yeah. I think I had it in the off position. I can't really remember, but we should have very little resistance. Oh man. Might as well be brand new. And if we turn it on, oh, that is exactly what we were hoping to see. I think what I want to do is get the engine in, hooked up to the fuel lines, and then just see if I can fire it, because I don't want to do everything and then find out it won't run for some reason. Oh, look at this little guy. What a little winner you are. Let's do the reverse order of operations that we did when we did the extraction. So let's start with fuel line. Pinchy clip. Primer line goes on the back. Let's work on our front cover. Got our ground wire for the ignition switch that goes right up here. Yes? You really need to come in here? I know you're just going to drop bombs all over my garage. Well, don't talk back to me. Yeah, okay. it's time to go somewhere else, please. Curiosity of the chicks. Come on, out you go. I don't need poo in my garage. Come on. Appreciate all your eggs. Starter motor goes next. You know what's going to happen, right? I'm going to end up completely installing this, even though I don't want to. That's just kind of the way it looks like it's going to go. Honestly, you really have to be in here, huh? Of all the space they have to explore, it's got to be Dad's garage. Do not over-tighten the starter. It is plastic. No, we're gonna leave that one out. Oh, good. Get in there. Ugh, real strugglation. Choke needs to be hooked back up. You can't see it. Oh, what a mess. What is going on here? How did that get there? Choke functions. All right, that's a good thing. We have a choke. Oh, I forgot the spacers on the backside of the engine. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's gone. And that one's gone. Oh, and that one's gone. 1 out of 4 isn't... 1 out of 4 is really bad. Okay. Spacers are in. We are making progress, folks. We're making progress. Well, I successfully stuck the coil wires behind the carburetor. Rather than making you watch me struggle, I'm going to go ahead and struggle on my own. That went a lot better than I thought it would. Thanks to the most important tool in the garage. Alright, we're plugged in. We should be ready to fire. And we're back for another beautiful day. Okay, let's pull the key off our shaft there so it doesn't go flinging off when I start this. When I start this, not if. Open our flammable cabinet. 2-stroke. Don't forget, it's a 2-stroke. Should be a good bit for starting. We'll just let that guy flop there. We are attached here. We need a spark plug. Better get our no name, no location spark plug. Pretty exciting, huh? That's fascinating. All right. We are plugged. We are wired. I think that's it. Let's get our electric start cord. It's a beautiful day. Let's do this outside. Are you ready? I'm ready. I got the key out. There is no exhaust, so this is going to be obnoxious. But yeah, we'll just run it for a second to see if it pops or not. Okay, primer. I don't think that's doing anything. Or maybe it is. Oh, you know what? Plus we have a choke. We're choked. Ignition's on. Cross your fingers. That was extremely uneventful. Maybe it's flooded. Let's try ether. Where's my ether? All right. It's a good sign. Apparently we don't want to suck gas though. It smells like ether out here. Now we're flooded. There we go. Dang, that thing is loud. In we go. All right. So I want to put the exhaust on and I want to run this a little longer because it was spitting and sputtering a little bit. I just want to make sure that it's actually going to be, a good functioning machine. I think part of my issue of not being able to start was the fuel can was tipped a little bit, and I don't think the fuel was getting in the pickup. So that tube just slides right in there. There's no gasket or seal, but probably doesn't need one, as long as there's no back pressure. I guess we'll find out if there is. You know what? I don't think that I was binding up because of rust. I think I was binding up because these are lock nuts. They're not the traditional ones with vinyl, but I think that's why it was coming off the way it was coming off. Get our self-tappers out of here. Oh, it's gone. I'm going to be very upset if I can't get this. Okay, there we go. I'm not upset. Not even close. There's so many different sizes, I can never keep track of which one I need. All the extensions. Making progress. I am happy. Oh heck, we might as well put the pulley back on. That way we can load this baby down a little bit. Get on there. Did my set screw go back in? It did. There's our shoulder engagement. Okay. I'm excited to see this go. Also excited to see how well that muffler works. Because it's weird. There she be. Just like it's supposed to be. Alright. Let's do some more exercising of this beautiful little machine. Let me know, do you guys like the wide angle for something like this? Or do you prefer the up close and personal? We're going to do wide angle. And go. I'm going to anchor this down really quick. Okay. I don't know if you can see or not because of the wide angle, but I definitely put this in backward so that the wire was straight up grinding on the starter gear there. That would not have gone so well. Good Lord. I don't think that muffler does a heck of a lot of anything. It's obnoxious. Well, it's running, but I don't know if you noticed, it's almost like it's firing every second rotation. Kind of like pop, 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 instead of just like that. So I'm wondering if it's because it's jetted for winter, which is colder, which means the air is more dense, so it needs more fuel. I bet if we leaned it up right now, it would start firing every rotation. So we can try that, and then I'll put it back to the setting that it was before, just in case it's purposely jetted that way. But I think it's a little rich right now. Anyway, let's try it out. I almost forgot. We're going to look this up and see if we can figure out what year this is. Toro, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Patents pending. Exciting. We have a Toro, model number 38130, and our serial number is 0606337. Let's see here. Actually, if you follow my dot, we're 0606337. Yeah, that falls right in here in 1980. Wow, this baby's got some years on her, huh? That's pretty cool. There's two different screws down there on the carburetor. This thing only runs at one speed, so I need to figure out which one does which. Number 14, screw main adjustment. It's super helpful. Number 10, screw idle adjustment. Interesting. So we're saying that number 10 is our speed adjust, and 14. Okay, well, let's go tickle the screws. If I can. This thing vibrates so much, I might not be able to. Jeez, oh Pete. Is this bearing blown out down here? No. This thing stinks. I don't know what that smell is, but it's not pleasant. Not hot. Well, this is fun. Maybe we're addicted to ether. Too much huffing. Starting to think that the engine's running completely fine, and the obnoxious clapping noise is in here. Look, hot. That's why they put covers on these. That was kind of weird. I had to do like a balancing act between the two screws. I took the right screw completely out almost, and then once I tickled the one on the left just a skoonch, then all of a sudden it ran super rich, and then I had to bring the left one back in a hair and then take the right one back in again too. I don't know what's going on. Whatever. It runs. I'm excited.
Let's have a little fun. Okay, let's have a little fun.
Okay, let's have a little fun. I'm tempted to find a way to trim down the flippy flappies on the front. They're just beating up the cutting edge of the blower and vibrating the whole thing like crazy. But then if we do that, it may cut down on efficiency. I don't know, whatever. Continuing on. On another happy note, our well is fixed. If you didn't see it, on the last episode, our well blew a hole in the back of it out of nowhere. And I used this tape, you can see my dent, to cover the hole. And then I used this to go one direction and this to go another direction. And then I put clamps around the top and the bottom. I mean, look at that freaking hole. Dang, man. Pretty crazy. Oh, I almost forgot. Look at these. Paint matching. Isn't that nice? Although the white was a good option too, because it was accenting the white plastic here. You be the judge. You can tell that someone's been visiting recently. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. And what do you say we do a little sheet plastic repair? Screw removed, we are clamped into place. What do you think? One of these guys? Take it right along the crack? I think that'll work. Well, I never got to that point, so now we're back again for another day. And we are ready to metallically fuse this piece of plastic together. Okay, let's see how she goes. Hold your breath. All right, that came out pretty nice. Yeah, that'll be nice. Should we work on this part down here? What do you think? Just go across like that? Get multiple birds with one hot paper clip? All right. Now, I think we're going to do the bend and snap method. This takes entirely too long. Now let's do a little smoothing. Get hot, little guy. This thing's taking its sweet time today. Usually it's glowing by now. All right. I think that looks pretty good. There's not a giant glob of glue anymore. Yeah, I mean, that turned out... I'm very happy with that. Are you happy with that? Good. Where are we on the list? Spark, check. Primary pulley, check. Fuel tank, check. Carb, no longer relevant. Whoop. Vane, vane. Oh, yeah, we got to trim down the vane. Case crack, complete. Ignition switch, check. Okay, let's go see if we can shorten up that flippy flappy. I was wrong. The Vane situation that I want to correct is this little guy that doesn't like participating with the rest of his friends. So what I'm seeing here are slots on either side. So I'm guessing it's like this one. I found this out the hard way. You do a twisty and a pluck and it comes out. Okay, so I'm thinking these are probably, oh, I just felt positive. Yep, there it is. If we look on the back side where the vane sticks through, there's our little culprit right there. So how do we get it back out? I don't want to break it. Further break it. Screwdriver time. Let's just see if we can do a wedge type removal. Yep, got it. So now what do we do? Maybe we can just melt a plastic welding paper clip in there. What do you think? Or should we just try super glue? I wonder why it cracked in the first place. Snow blowing at a heavy angle and hit a rock. So I have the most important tool in the garage holding the piece together. I took these little guys. These are 0.6 millimeter. They're the smallest ones that are in the kit. And I flattened it out into something like this. So I thought about using super glue, but I think it would just break and fall apart. And we'd be right back to where we were to begin with. Let's see if I can hold my hand steady enough to make this happen. Probably not. Well, sort of good, sort of bad. The hemostats actually squished the plastic while it was hot. So I don't know if that's going to cause any issues or not. Wow, that's actually... that's pretty well on there. Alright, well, let's do the other side. Want an up-close view this time? Okie dokie. Cross your fingers. There we go. That baby is on there. I will be. I did not really expect that to work. Cool. All right, let's clip these off into really sharp points. What a beautiful day. Nice wind. This is about 75 degrees. I think, oh yeah, we're in business. Sweet. Step 1, remove side flap. Step 2, reinstall newly reconditioned vane. And we just got to pop it through this slot here. This is much more difficult than I thought it would be. Starting to wonder if I needed to do the bottom part first, because there is a notch where it needs to slide in. Maybe that's my problem. Yep, my bad. Okay, so you got to do that first and then risk breaking this. Oh, look at that. Oh yeah, little guy's ready to participate now. To finish it all off, reinstall your side flap. Okay, and we're back for another day. Alright, so I took a look at this. You can see it's just slapping the heck out of this. This one clears pretty well. This one, no. The way these are designed, they're pretty much made. You can see how far it sticks below the edge of the cowl here. Cowl? Is that what you want to call it? Whatever. You can see it sticks below here. They're pretty much designed to slap the ground, and that also helps propel it forward. It makes it a little easier for the operator. I don't even know if I have anything that can cut that. This is the consistency of plastic. I mean, I know it's rubber, but dang. It's mostly on this side that it's too long. Oh, that's not so bad. All right, well, you can see what I'm going to be doing. And rather than putting you to sleep for, you know, a fifth or maybe a ninth time during this episode, I'm going to go ahead and work on this, trim some back, and when I get it to the point that I'm happy, I will let you know. Okay, that went a lot better than I thought it would. It's pretty easy to just trim it, but so this is the one that was not hitting before. And then this one, I just have it so that the fabric that was in between the rubber layers is essentially just barely brushing that plastic guard there. A lot better than it was, that's for sure. I was curious about this bearing. It does have a little bit of rocking to it, but it's only on one when you rotate it one way. Probably because this thing's been beating itself to death. But yeah, I think we're just gonna run it. Okay, Vane is complete. I'm gonna check the carb box too because it's distracting. Trim the flap. Flap is trimmed. Pulley bolt, the pulley set screw. Found a good candidate, this shoulder bolt. I think that's what they call that, right? Shoulder bolt? I noticed that our set screw has little teeny teeth in the bottom of it. It's rather clever. I really don't even know if we need a second one, but my plan is to cut the round part off the top, if I can, and then sort of try to notch it for a screwdriver. Or maybe I can even use the square part to secure it into place. I just don't want too much weight sticking out of the top, because that'll, you know, cause a little bit of an imbalance that could wipe out the crank bearing after a while. As we found out from our severely neglected mower that I found on the side of the road. Alright, so you're probably going to chuckle at me, but I took the flapjack shack and I just ground down the head until it was paper thin, and then it just came right off. It just, yeah, broke right off. Pretty cool. And then I smoothed it down a little bit, and then I cut it off, and then I rounded the end, and then I'm going to put some little dimples in the end to help with grippy. Very close, but I'm going to have to round off my edges there. Just a little bit of interference. Next, I want to make sure we're going to have engagement with the pulley. Oh man, that was close. I even gave myself extra length thinking, okay, well, a set screw actually goes down and sinks into the bore. This will not sink into the bore, but I just barely have enough meat coming out the bottom. I think it's going to work. Make sure we're on all the way. Yep. That's tight. Oh yeah. She's on there. It's going to round off if I go any tighter. That's one way to do it. Could cut a notch on the top. You know what? I'm going to do that because it's really not that tight. So let's notch it. Do the right thing. Da, 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 da. All right, I took your advice. Made a nice deep notch into it with my hacksaw. There we go. Oh yeah, nice and tight. Oh man, this is great. Go ahead and put the belt back on. There we go. Belt is on. I retightened the exhaust again because it still wasn't very tight. And now we'll do the cover. Now we know that these washers are here to keep this from getting caught in the flappy. Whoops, I made a boo-boo. Turns out this, either it's worn through or maybe not, but it's supposed to go overlap here. Yeah, you know what? I think a screwdriver will fix that just fine. Thanks, buddy. There we go. Jeez. Yeah, I think that's just worn through. I don't think that was supposed to be an engagement point. Lots of sliding on the concrete there, huh? getting late. This video's getting long. Let's fire this beast up and see how much less it vibrates, if any. Hopefully I can prime it this time. Cross your fingers. Really though. I know you're sitting there thinking, I'm not going to cross my fingers. But I want you to cross your fingers. Okay, thanks. On, choke, primer. Well, I would say it's pretty much just as bad. Maybe, maybe not. Thanks, buddy. You're a good helper. Let's do a slow-mo test. Maybe we can compare it to the first test. Maybe the vibration's reduced a little bit. I don't think it's ever going to be perfect. It's a little quieter, a little less destructive to the body when you're holding onto it. Oh, poor lost dog. Get your stick. Goofy dog. And also, maybe putting these screws back in will quiet it down. Oh, that's gone. All right. Well, that was quite the project, if I do say so myself. One more vibe test now that the screws are back in. We'll try the ripcord too. We haven't done that yet. Still obnoxious. Last item of business. Pulley bolt. Reattach cover. I think that's it. Oh, what a failure. Check! I got a check and a half on this one. That's bonus points. Well, my friends, I do believe that's all she wrote for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. If in the future you find yourself looking for a new and amazing adventure, come on back. I will be here and we will go find that adventure. Got a couple machines over here queued up in the list, including a possible engine swap on that other mower. We shall see. It's been fun as always. We will see you next time. All right, off we go.